Hey everyone, John here. I'm the lead maintainer of Latterly.io, an open source career development platform for software engineers. One of the things that is important for software engineer career development is leak code. So if you go to the blog, one of the first articles, blog article number 3, is on Latterly's recommendation for leak code. And it starts with this very beginner friendly standard kata that is, let's see, I think that's the longer one. Yeah. So the expanded one is 28. The standard one is only 14 problems. So you can get through this in a weekend. Much smaller, more accessible than Blind 75 and other larger problem sets, but that's a two-edged sword. So it's a stepping stone. It's not the end state. It's a two-edged sword because we know that volume helps with leak code. So you get started here, then you go on to the expanded kata. And where do you go from there? You could go to the Blind 75. But ultimately, you can end up at the Latterly 360, which is the largest, most comprehensive problem set, larger than Blind 75, Sean Prasad's patterns, even NeetCode. NeetCode has a 250, which is their large set. And the Latterly 360 totally subsumes and unions these problem sets with an evidence-based twist because it has a higher proportion of hard problems. So this is not a vain spamming. There's actual evidence and research with Latterly practices in general. It's evidence-based, and that includes this large problem set, the Latterly 360. Why is it 360 instead of like 500? Well, you're going for return on investment, right? And there's actual data that shows that this is like a pretty good number, even though it's rounded. That's about the right number. And you can click the links and read more about the evidence. Okay, so there's a new evidence-based problem set on the scene from our friends at Taro. You can see I'm not logged in, so this is a public set, and so I'm going to copy it. If it were a private set, I would not be like taking their stuff, but I'm not logged in, so it's totally publicly available. And here's the interesting way that they derived the Taro 75, a scientifically calculated list of the most frequently asked data structures and algorithms problems. Okay, so they're going for frequency of the problem. These are critical problems for every software engineer on the interview grind to master. So Taro takes the position that you should be able to complete all of these problems. Now, I actually think loads of people can get loads of jobs without being able to do any of these problems on the spot. But these are, I agree, common problems. I'm speaking as a staff level engineer. I can do most of these. They're really good problems to be practicing on. So even if I might dispute, well, I guess it depends what you mean by critical. If critical means like high return on investment, like I agree. But I don't want you to think this is a blocker. Okay, that's going to be the key thing that I push on is I think by the time you've done the standard kata of only 14 problems, you can start to apply to jobs. But you're going to want to keep going in parallel. And that's a trick a lot of people drop the ball on is they actually never get to the end of the 75, like Blind 75 or whatever. Okay. And I think you don't even want to stop with these. So they may well be right. I'm not going to dispute. Maybe these are the most valuable 75. Maybe you should do this before Blind 75. By the way, the Blind 75 is obsolete, even according to the creator of the Blind 75. So the creator of the Blind 75 made the Grind 75, which is intended to be updated. Okay, it's a better version of the Blind 75 by the author of the Blind 75. Now, here's the trick. The Grind 75 is not 75 questions. It's 169 questions. So he just went with that term because it had the brand value. So we can ask the question, we know Grind 75 is better than Blind 75, but what about the Taro 75? Where does it fit into the quality matrix? Well, one heuristic is it's most recent, so we give it priority. It's based on frequency data. That will ostensibly be a more recent, more current snapshot of frequency, which makes it nice. But the other way that we can argue that the Taro 75 might be even better is if we just consider it equally valuable, not better, just consider it equally valuable to the Grind 75, and then note that the Grind 75 is actually over 150 questions. So then on a per problem basis, if the set has the same value, but this is truly 75 questions, these questions would be twice as valuable to target or more. Okay, these are just some heuristics on how you can calculate the value here. Let's copy them over and union them. Okay, so let me bring up cursor. I have cursor. We have the laterally repo. We're going to go into scripts, Python, leak code problems, and you see I have these sets. So there's the neat code 250, the grind 75, the laterally expanded kata. So these are actually coming from laterally, and there's an evidential basis for picking these. Sean Prashad's, and then a unified version. So we want to make a new JSON file. So the new JSON file is, oh, one other thing before I dive into this. Taro is awesome. And I'm a member of the Taro community. So you can access this Taro 75 without even logging in. Let me bring up the chat and make sure I'm not missing any chat questions. If you're enjoying the video so far, give it a like, follow the page. That'll help the algorithm send it around. So as we covered, you can access these recommended data structure and algorithm practice questions even without a Taro account. That being said, I personally have a Taro account, and I think it's a great idea for a lot of people. Again, don't make this a blocker to getting your next programming job. Just consider it to be a generally good idea to improve the overall velocity of your career. For networking reasons, they have a lot of really good courses and content. And so the thing that I wanted to call out is Laterally gives you a discount on Taro. So you can go to laterally.io/perks. You don't even need a Laterally account to access this perks page. Obviously, I'd love it if you sign up at Laterally, and we can help you with your career in a complementary way. So these are not competitors. Taro is going to have content that Laterally doesn't even have. Laterally has content that Taro doesn't even have. Laterally has content and features in the app. So once upon a time, Taro had like a Q&A section called discussions, and you could go create a question. And I've even given like a bunch of answers here, but I think they disabled the ability to ask new ones. So these are just kind of like retro data, and you can't actually have a new discussion. On the other hand, with Laterally, there's the community feed thing. So, and we just have a bunch of like different features. There is no Taro AI. Laterally has an AI tool. Laterally has these checklists and the blog. Okay, so we're really not competing. And then the career journal. Okay, so they can both of these tools can help you accelerate your career. So I would encourage you to sign up for both. All right, let's get back into the Union Taro 75. So here's the GitHub issue. I'm going to take this issue number, go over to cursor, git fetch origin main, git checkout -b, Union Taro, git reset hard origin main. ELR on Kick. Hello, how's it going? See here, I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to call this elite code Taro 75.json. Here, I'll just put an empty file for now so that I can get that pull request started. And this will be feat union Taro. Okay, so we get the pull request. El Rafa, going good. How about you? Going well over here. This will be closes Taro. Oops. Union Taro. Okay. All right. So here, this should actually be in a draft state, but whatever, I don't care. It's not actually ready to review. I don't think I'd be bothering anyone. In a team setting, I would set that to draft because it might go ping people, but there's no one else getting pinged. So I'm just going to go over to ChatGPT, Google Chrome, Taro 75. And actually, there will be a cleaner way to do this. Let me do that. Okay, we'll do I could just copy the plain text and ask ChatGPT to scrape it out. But to illustrate a little bit of code, because we love to code here, right? I'll show you a slightly cleaner way to do this, which is going to use the document selector. So here, I'm using the Chrome inspector, and we can see that these are divs, and they will be tagged according to a regular structure because this is an HTML component. All right, so I'm trying to look for the pattern, and I need to kind of look through it and figure out the pattern. But here I can see that there is an anchor. So all of these have links. So therefore, the anchor level will be a repeated structure. So I can look at the href directly. Here it is. All right, and this is longest increasing subsequence. But how do I get the leak code ID or name out of this thing? Okay. It's the same slug. Do you see that? Longest increasing subsequence. So let's test this theory. It may or may not be true, that the slug is always the same. So now it's word search. And the slug is, so it's problem/word search. Yeah, okay. So it looks like we only have a sample size of 2. This is not like a flawless theory, but it looks like in every case, it's the same slug literal. So I can just grab out these anchors. So I can say document.query selector all, and we're going to use a CSS selector. And so I'm going to look for A. And let's look through these. I think this will include anchors that I don't care about. So let me find the parent. It looks like it's a series of divs, not a proper table. So here's the div. So I'm looking for an ID. I don't see anything like an ID that would help me grab this thing. Okay, so this is a bit of a unique expression. We may get multiple elements with this, but let's see if this can uniquely specify that div, or I can just add an ID. Let me add an ID right here. So I'm going to add an ID. This is going to be ID equals main table. Okay. So I'm going to query selector all, and then I'm going to find hash main dash table A. And you can see now, instead what was the original count? So there's 262 anchor results if I go only on the anchor, but if I look under the main table, now I get 150. And this is going to be 2 per row. So that's the 75 that I expect. Okay, so I can convert this to a unique list. So I can say query selector all. This is going to be a node list. So here I'll say const nodes. And then I will say const elements, or let me say hrefs. What do I want to call this? Slugs. We're going to use let because I might manipulate this list in place. Let slugs equal nodes. And I'm going to use this destructuring approach. And the reason that I did that is because it converts them into a list. So the actual result of the query selector thing is not a normal list. Okay, so this is a normal list, and what do I want to do with it? I want to get the hrefs. I guess I kind of want the names as well. So what do I want in my JSON over here? Order ID, href, name, patterns. Okay, cool. Order ID is going to be just the list order because they're already rendered on that page in order. Href, okay, we can get that slug, and then we think it's just going to be and then we want the name. So I'll get these. I can get these 3, and then I'll have ChatGPT tag the patterns. So here, LREF says, what are you working on? I'm taking the Taro 75 list of scientifically calculated, prioritized leak code problems, and I'm unioning them, I'm merging them in to the laterally 360. I think there's going to be a lot of overlap. I'm curious to see how much overlap there is. So here I want, I shouldn't call it slugs. I'll call it problems equals slugs.map. And this will be a slug, which is really a misleading name because it's not a single slug. Okay, and that'll make this object that I care about. And so I'm going to have order ID. So I need the index. So slug, I think index is the second element of the map. So here's order ID. And that's going to be index. And href. I'm going to guess that it's done like this. So I'll use a template string here. And we will interpolate the slug dot what? href, I think. Yeah, because it doesn't have, do I have path? HIJKLMNOP. Oh, I have path name here. Okay, so I can slice the path name on questions to get the slug. Lost my little thing. So this will be the, I'll call it an underscore slug, and that's going to be the slug.pathname.slice. Is it slice? I don't know if slice is the right word. Questions. And then we'll take the first index. So we'll get to the right of that slice. Okay, so the href, yeah, and then we take that and append it to get this href. Good. And then the name. How do I get the name? Well, this is not going to actually have the name. This is not going to actually have the name on the A block. So here's an A block. And you can see why just copying the text over to ChatGPT could be easier. Let's go for this. I'll leave out the name for now. Maybe ChatGPT can look up the name. Okay. Unexpected token. I got an extra parenthesis going on. Now I got a missing parenthesis. What's going on? Okay, so left paren, I get my slug, and then I want to return. Let me do this. Oh, I need the final parenthesis at the end of the map. Yeah, good. Okay, so now I got problems. Cool. So this is what I expect basically. Though I don't want the repeated problems I. Why is it problems I? let me do window dot path name document dot window dot path name location path. Okay. And so I'm getting the interviews, I'm getting that I, and if I say slice int, what am I actually getting here? I'm getting an I again. Okay, so slice is the wrong thing. What is the is it split? Yeah, it's split. Okay. Problems to some. Yeah. Okay. So this is the list that I want. So I'll just ask ChatGPT to kind of deduplicate this. And then I can verify that there's 5 results. So here I'll do JSON stringify problems. Okay. Consolidate duplicates in the above list. Reorder reorder continuously. And then add name and patterns fields. Are you trying to combine all programming questions into one large data set? Basically, yes. Basically, yes. Oh man, it's putting it all on one line. That's wild. Now it's got up to order ID 84. We've gone way too far. Yeah. Okay, so it gave me the JavaScript to do the deduplication. It didn't actually deduplicate. All right, whatever. It's taking the name this way. This is not the right way to get the name, bro. Okay, this is what I'm actually asking for. Your chat GPT needs to be disciplined. No, he's doing well. $35 unique entries. Okay, I take it back. It's being really dumb. I'm expecting it to use the code compiler tool. Okay, I think I confused it because I asked it the JavaScript function to split a string. So then it like thought that I wanted to like split these strings or something. Oh man. All right, let's do the following. Let's just do this. Okay, so I have problems over here. Okay, now I have the 75 I expected. So let me JSON.stringify unique hrefs. I'm going to do a new chat. Consider the following LeetCode problem URLs. Add the name. So with the add the name. Docker, go away. All right, so we're giving it the example. This is a shot prompt. This is really helpful to the AI. And here I'll take TwoSum. Okay. This is just called TwoSum, right? Array hash table. All right, and now we're doing the right thing. LRU cache. All right, so I think that's going to wrap the stream. I'll take these, I'll put them in here, and then I have a script that I run that merges them basically. I have this Python script. You can see the Latterly open source repository for that. So you can go to latterly.io. In the footer, there's GitHub. And then you'll go to the scripts folder under Python, under leak code problems. These are the JSON files. The script itself is going to be over here. Create unified leak code list. So you can check out how that merging is accomplished.